Welcome to Crypto Talk Radio, the podcast for everyday investors like you. Visit us on the web at cryptotalkradio.net. And now, here's your host, Leister.
Thank you for that, Bailey, and welcome everybody out there in Crypto Talk Radio, found at cryptotalkradio.net. Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean that cryptocurrency doesn't turn into the red, although I think this is a little bit different. This is a little bit unique. Welcome or welcome back, either way. And just aside, I'm tweaking audio because I need to get my singing setup all set back the way it was. And I have a lot of different widgets and devices and whiz bangs and deals. And so my audio will change. I don't think the quality goes down. I think the quality gets better with time, like a fine wine. But just for the short term, there's going to be a little bit of shift in what you hear and how you hear. And I'm going to be tweaking until I'm satisfied, because that's just how I roll in the LBC crew. So, I had a small personal update, nothing major, but I went through and I was updating, I'm getting ready for tax season, and I'm getting ready potentially to buy the home and all that. And I'm recording this actually on Friday morning because of yesterday was this hardware thing. And so I figured, let me just crack this out and get it out in the early morning. And I crunched all the numbers, and I'm like, okay, I made a pretty good amount of money last year. I was good, really good. I have money stacked in the banks, plural. And then cryptocurrency got me some stuff this year that made up for what happened last year. I will have some capital gains, but it won't apply until next year's filing, which is great. So I was in a good spot. But when I was looking at some of the list, there's a different mortgage company, and they sent me a little site, and they were talking about the stuff that they need. And one of the things they said was, well, we need your telework agreement, deep. I'm like, what the hell? What are you talking about? Telework agreement. I understand what a telework agreement is. I don't know why a fucking bank needs to know what my telework agreement is just to buy a home. So I'm going to be talking to my local bank at the end of the month, and just hopefully make sure that's just a one-off with them maybe, and it's not widespread. If this is a widespread thing, that's going to piss me off. Like, come on now. This is about money, okay? It doesn't matter where I work. It doesn't matter if I work at home or I don't work. And why do you need a telework agreement? Why do you need that? So I think what they're trying to do, I can't know for sure, but I think in this case, what they're trying to do is they're trying to use it as a proof of employment in lieu of a regular employment agreement. In other words, if you have a telework agreement, it's basically saying you get to work from home, and it's saying here's the terms under which you can work from home, and here's the terms of the nature of what we can inspect and stuff. But that has nothing to do with the bank. I mean, the bank is out of the business. It's my house, right? If I buy it, it's mine. Whether it's a loan or not, I'm still the one who ultimately is paying the bill, not the employer. So this, if it turns out with my local bank, they require the same thing, then I'll just do it under my business and have the business buy the house for me, which I can do because I own the business, right? So I'm sharing this because if somebody else is going to be made good in this run, as I suspect some of you might, and you are in a similar situation where you're considering buying a home and maybe it's your first home, I'm warning, this was a thing, and hopefully it's not widespread, because I think it's crap. Who cares, right? The bank should only care about your ability to pay them back. Like, it's literally that. So that's pay stubs or invoices, maybe tax forms. That's it. It's money. It's money in, money out, not, well, we need to see your telework agreement deep, or reference deep. Like, come on, dude. Reference for what? You don't need that crap. I'm showing you, I have proof that I can pay the bill. Leave me the fuck alone. And I'm sorry. I'm fired up about it, because when I saw it, and again, it could be a one-off, could be this one mortgage company is just playing games with my money, like playing with my emotions, but I'm sharing this story because it may affect some people that are out there. Anyway, cryptocurrency had some ups and downs, and I noticed some things on some charts that I wanted to talk about and share. I have a little public service announcement, nothing major, but by and large, I think it's good. I think everything's in a good spot, and it doesn't look bad, but I noticed some things that might be of interest to you as a listener. And on the tail end of this, then I'm going to give some bad news. I guess not everybody, but for most people, it's going to be some bad news, I think, around cryptocurrency in general from my eyes. Let's talk numbers, shall we? Coindesk.com. I'm going to zoom out to the month chart and start with Bitcoin, as Bitcoin had a little bit more interest to it than Ethereum, although Ethereum appears to be the stronger long term. A low of 66.6, a high of 68 as I speak this, and roughly just shy of 68,000 as I hold. So it's holding line as I record this. Upward trend, strong, powerful. I didn't see any concerns with the upward momentum. Expected to hit the 70,000 mark here shortly. Everybody's looking like, okay, Bitcoin's the thing. And I'm going to talk about this here in a second. On the Ethereum side, Ethereum looks stronger to me at least. A low of 37.6, a high of 39.5, hovering about the just shy of 4,000 mark. So it held its line much better than Bitcoin did. That's not saying Bitcoin's crapping. I'm saying Ethereum appears stronger to me, at least from my eyes, than a Bitcoin does. But there's a couple of curveballs that were thrown ever so recently. Meanwhile, many of the meme coins that were going on a major run ever so slightly started to cool off, as I expected that they did. This is why, by the way, I took my profits out. I wasn't going to leave them running. There could be more profits on deck, especially with some of these lesser ones that were near dying, like a Floki, Kishu, Sanshu, I'm hearing, has a new something. So some of these other ones that were kind of in the back wings are starting to resurge. And so there's still profit opportunities to be made if you want to get into those lesser tokens that were out there from before the run. However, I looked at all numbers across broad span. When I say broad span, I'm talking not just, any category of different cryptocurrencies, but all the way across. And the total market cap of $2.58 trillion is significantly higher, obviously, than it was before and still trending upwards. So the strength of buy-in is still there. But I looked into all the different tokens and I noticed two things. Number one, people are taking profits. That's clear and apparent. They're taking profits. And the vast majority of the profit taken appears to be coming from Binance, the exchange. That's where it appears to be. I can't say for 100%, but based on what's traded, it appears like Binance is the target for a lot of the profit taking that's happening. Meanwhile, Solana is going back up again. Remember, Solana hit a peak, I want to say $320 or $350 or something, and we're roughly half that, and it's trending upward as I speak. And of course, any of the garbage tokens that are on the Solana chain are profit opportunities as it runs. Myro, very most recently, was running back up again. Binance, as in the BNB Binance coin, ran up as well. Remember, Binance, that coin went down, I want to say went down to like, $100 or something. Currently trending sharply upward on its route to about $500 per. It's about to hit its all-time high again. So the BNB token itself is having a huge run. All of the tokens, though, that are on the Binance chain, you don't see the same run-up that you see with the BNB token. To me, as a personal opinion, that indicates people are buying into BNB in anticipation of buying into some of those tokens, and they're not there yet. Right now, they're basically profiting off of the Solana chain and to a lesser degree the Ethereum chain, and then taking those profits and parlaying them into Bitcoin, which is next on my conversation list, and then later getting into some of the Binance chains, especially when we see Ethereum's and its gas going nuts again. I saw that the other day where the gas prices are absolutely outrageous because the chain is saturated, and then people seem to shift back over to the ones that are cheaper. By and large, people want to buy on the Ethereum chain, though. The Ethereum's traffic is nowhere, it's way higher than any of the other ones not named Bitcoin. So it tells me people want to transact on Ethereum. So this idea that Ethereum's dead or it's done or the other one's going to take over, I don't see it, at least not right now. I mean, if I look at the total right now, the volume on Ethereum just in 24 hours was just shy of $24 billion, where if you look at Solana, which had the major run, is just shy of $10 billion. So what does that tell us? If the Solana token and the Solana chain and the Solana, all the different garbage tokens on the Solana chain had that much of a run up, and it had roughly a third-ish of what Ethereum was able to do, what does that tell you about the potential, the raw potential, what could flow into Solana and the other alt chains at some point down the road? But as of right now, Ethereum is right on the heels of Bitcoin. Ethereum is just half of the 24-hour volume of Bitcoin. So Ethereum still has that awareness. Ethereum is still that king not named Bitcoin. Speaking of Bitcoin, Bitcoin is 1.3 trillion of the total market cap with a 24-hour of $54 billion. Well, what does that tell me? It tells me that all of the profits that are coming from all these other chains is flowing that direction back into Bitcoin, where Bitcoin is expected to continue climbing at least until there's some major dump event. All I'm saying to those listening, and this is my impression of what I see. All I'm saying is that I'm not sold on this narrative that Ethereum's dead or that Ethereum's going away or that Ethereum doesn't run it. I think Ethereum's going to continue to run it because it was arguably there before a lot of these for the most part. And it's more ubiquitous. It's got more support. The idiot Vitalik backing it. Like there's all these factors that I think Ethereum's not going to go away. And it's always going to be number two. I don't think it'll overtake Bitcoin anytime in the near future. Maybe at some point later, but I doubt it, because if you think about what Bitcoin, it's a general acceptance, right? Across span, Ethereum doesn't have that. And there's too many scams out there and the gas prices. I know they're trying to work on the gas prices. They haven't finished it yet. So until that's done, we're not going to see anything more than what we see right now. Right on the heels of all these other ones I just talked about, Doge did a run up. And remember, Doge went as low as like 2-3 cents, currently hovering about 17 cents. I think it peaked at like 18. Started to cool off as people took profits, but people that were talking about Doge is dead and Doge is this and that and the other, they're just getting slapped in the face because Doge keeps recovering. Now, mind you, some of the recovery of Doge is simply endemic to people taking profits from other things and buying into the other things and then causing run-ups. And then the run-ups ultimately are causing more FOMO effects. And then there's the domino effect and something else. So think about the potential of what Doge could do if Doge could 10x. Because remember, I believe Doge's all-time high was like 70 cents, 78 cents. At a time when I told people, it took Doge years. It took 8 years to get to any point of climb for Doge. So all of these take a long time to get to significant numbers. That's why they're all patient plays. If you just do a daily and you're looking at the daily chart, you're going to get frustrated. That's why I look at the month chart, because the month chart gives me the indication of the direction of a given cryptocurrency at any given point in time. That's where BNB I've always watched in the Binance Smart Chain, because that's where I was playing for the vast majority of my trades when it was up and down, 2022-ish. I was always on the Binance Smart Chain because it seemed like it had the most profit potential. Ethereum obviously gives you profit potential, but nowhere near what BNB was doing. And then I did buy Doge, and I've had Doge, but I knew I just had to sit on it. It wasn't like something I need to day trade it. There are people who do, but the profit potential wasn't there for day trading, in my personal opinion. Separately, then, you think about Pepe. There were some people on CoinMarketCap's community who swore that Pepe wasn't going to go any higher. It's going higher. It keeps going. And I want to remind people, Pepe has less supply than SHIB. SHIB currently is higher than Pepe in terms of market cap overall, in terms of 24-hour volume. Pepe's right on its ass, though, right? Pepe's got $2 billion in 24-hour volume. SHIB is just shy of $4 billion. Pepe's right on the tail. Pepe's on the climb. So I would not overlook Pepe in its opportunity to possibly overtake SHIB. There's a race going on right now with these garbage tokens. There's a race. And so I think money is flip-flopping between the two. There's not new money in cryptocurrency even right now. We still have people coming back in that were out for an extended period of time. So until we get to those new people coming in, we're not going to see the downstream impact of what this means for some of these. Remember, Pepe doesn't do anything, just like SHIB doesn't do anything. And I would argue some of this in this race, loss of that momentum for SHIB, is because the team keeps coming out with crap. They keep talking about this NFT garbage and the naming crap and all this stuff that's not going to move the needle. And the vast majority of traders may not even be aware it's there, even if they do care. The vast majority of traders are all about price and whatever moves the price. And that's going to be Shibarium, which they have not heavily focused on. To this day, Shibarium doesn't do anything yet. And until it substantially does something, you're not going to see significant price movements on SHIB, which is going to allow some of this other garbage to overtake it. Do I think that lasts forever? No. I think that at some point, SHIB is going to get some more momentum back. But think of how much money is going to be lost in the short term, because some of those people may never come back. Some of those SHIB traders may just say, screw it, I'm just not coming back to this garbage. They're not doing anything to benefit me, the low-level trader. And we have to be okay with that outcome, if that happens to be the outcome. The other part I want to talk about, which this caught my eye, and it was interesting because I've never talked about it, Optimism, which is a different chain, the Optimism Foundation. I'm talking specifically around what happened, not the token itself. The reason I've not paid attention to the Optimism token or the foundation or the chain or anything else is because I didn't really have a reason to. There was no compelling reason to give any attention to it. That doesn't say it's crap or bad or any of that. Just I look for a compelling reason to invest my money, like I would encourage everybody here to do. I want to make sure you are looking for Give me a reason that I should give you my money. I mean, that should be the number one thing on your mind. Give me a reason why I should give you my money. And if you can't justify why I should give you my money, I'm not going to give you my money. That's my opinion on how I think you should handle it. But it's ultimately up to you what you choose to do with your own money. So I never had a compelling, reason to buy into it. It's a decent chain for what it is. I didn't see anything wrong necessarily. I didn't see anything bad. Its price movement is really conservative. It doesn't have any sort of, significant profit opportunity to it. Maybe you can get a 10x, 20x at the most. It's not going to make you a millionaire unless you YOLO'd into it, which I would never tell you to do. But there were some recent transactions that happened, and I was inspired seeing it, and I would like to see more token projects that are managed do this. Obviously, in a decent world, this is not something that could be done. Here's the thing. I think something like this would have been great for like Luna Classic or other managed, I'll say, quote, managed chains. I think it would be great if they all would do it. Obviously, they don't want that smoke, but if they did, I want to tell you what happened and tell you why I'm so positive about it. And it creates, at least for me, a bullish sentiment about its long-term, about the future. So what happens is they had a whale that wanted to buy a significant amount of these tokens for the Optimism, the token. They wanted to buy a significant amount. Like when we say whale, I mean, there's levels to whale. In Bitcoin land, you saw like the Black Rocks and whoever else, and they're buying tens of thousands of Bitcoin, crazy amounts of Bitcoin, basically creating centralization, if we're honest with ourselves, right? And they can just do it because it's out there for sale. It's whatever it is, and it's not really Bitcoin's not really a managed something. It's just out there for transactions that if people are selling, people can buy it. With Optimism, they had a transaction, the whale had a transaction that they agreed to with the whale to buy just shy of 20 million of these tokens. And how they did this is instead of the open market, they sold the tokens from the treasury. So they had a treasury for them to do, what they need to do to manage the foundation, to manage the chain and everything else. They have this treasury set aside for their capital. So that's number one. They were smart enough to allocate tokens separate from the rest of the trade pool that they can use as a working capital source instead of what most of these sketchy ones do, which is they'll hold individual bags and then they'll dump off the bags or whatever, or like a terrarium where they'll straight up tell you, yeah, you're not entitled to any liquidity, that kind of garbage. This was smarter. It was thought out, right? They thought we probably should have, some way to manage regular expenses, as they all need to do it, but they planned for it. It wasn't just a random sell just because, Terrarium doing a pump saying, hey, Binance US, whatever, and then just dumping tokens when everybody, bought the rumor. This was smart. It was thought out, and I was very impressed with the level of professionalism of the decision to even allocate that. But second, to negotiate a sale, so you have a whale, they want to buy in, and they say, yeah, we want to get in. It's a significant amount. Let's talk it out like a real business would do. Let's talk it out. Let's understand impact. How can we make this happen? Here's what I'm trying to do, And in this case, what happened is this is just shy of $100 million as I speak. But as part of this agreement, apparently the whale basically said, look, I am not trying to dump on it. I'm not trying to sell on you or nothing. And I see long term with this business. And I want to support it. I want to support your bottom line. I want to support the foundation of this one for its foreseeable future. It's very akin to what you get if you had somebody who said, you know what, I see long-term in Amazon back when Amazon was trading for like $2 a share. And, I see long-term and I want to put a significant amount of money against this to see to its future. They make this agreement. And as part of the agreement, this whale agreed, no, go ahead and just lock up the tokens for 2 years. It's fine. I don't need that as long as I can still transact it. So you can create a lock on the ability to sell because I'm not going to, but I still should have all the benefits of being able to, do, because it's you have a stake, right? And there's still the ability to do governance against it. So you get all the benefits of being a holder, but you just can't buy or sell. You can buy more, but you can't sell, right? Dump off the project. So you can't harm the project, but you can benefit as being a holder and you're contributing to its bottom. Think about all of this. Think about how amazing that could have been if everybody involved with Luna Classic had a mind of the business and they understood what it took to recover from something like this. you think about it from a business perspective, you are negotiating with where money's coming from. And it's not the kids that say the word Jeet and say the word tech and NFTs and crap. It is, we have a business plan, we have a strategy, we have a roadmap, we have a website, we know what we're trying to do. We are smart about how we allocate so that we're not dumping off the project. And then we do negotiations. We actually talking about what we're going to do. And then we create lockup plans that are not ripoffs because you still have governance capability. And you can still delegate, you can still stake, you can do all the other stuff as a holder of this. It's just that you can't sell for 2 years. And apparently that's cool with you, right? So you're coming to the table as business, right? Think of how that could have been for Luna Classic. Think of how powerful that would have been for Titano. Think of what could have been for these projects that didn't act like a business and where they would be now. Titano alone, think of where it would be now in this bull run, where Titano started and where it might be now if they were smarter about that whale. Instead of stealing from them, you sit at the table, you negotiate it, you create a lockup plan. It's possible the whale just said, screw it, I want to sell. That's my money. I want to sell. Okay, let him sell. Don't blacklist the motherfucker. So I'm inspired seeing at least one token project act like a business. At least one. The vast majority don't. Some of them can't, but in this case, the vast majority simply don't because they don't want to. And so I'm giving a shout out to Optimism, seeing this happen and this is what I want more of. I want to see more of this kind of negotiation to find, because that's what you would do in regular business. You would identify who wants to be that angel investor. You would create a lockup plan to where they can't sell for a period of time, which on the stock side is easy. On crypto, apparently it can be done if you do it right and you act like a business. I want to see more of this. I want to see more where we're identifying sources of wealth that we can create lockups. Because if you say, okay, if it's over a certain threshold, and just be smart about it, whatever the threshold is, over a certain threshold, you're subject to this lockup, vesting or whatever. In this case, it's a lockup, not a vesting, but you could do either. You could say, well, we'll vest it, over, every year you can sell X percent of something, whatever. Or every month you can sell, whatever. If you could think about it, think about, and I would imagine there's a lot of people out there that would buy in. It's like there's long-term to what we see here, and there's an opportunity for the return to be significant. You talk about the price of Optimism as I record this. The price of Optimism as I record this is $4.60, okay? $4.60. Imagine if they're able to entice enough people into this foundation that I'm describing. Let's say this guy goes 10x, right? The return is huge, and 10x is not unreasonable. It's not. For something like this, especially if they can deliver the products that they say that they're going to do, and during bull runs, and if they can stabilize inflow, right? If they can stabilize the amount of people coming in and get the awareness out that it's there and how it's better than other chains, 10x is not unheard of at all. And then you think in the next 2 years, it's easily going to double. So, okay, you get your money back and you make this profit. That's huge, right? That's the sell. If you find the wealth out there, that's the sell. That's how you sell them on what they could potentially do if they're willing to agree to lockups terms or even vesting plans. But you're transparent about it. You're not going to pink scam. You're not going to all this shady business. And you just come to the table and talk it out. I was very inspired by it, and I wanted to share the story. If it sounds like I'm excited about the potential of it, I am, because I want more projects to do this. I want more projects to do things like this, because that's where you're going to get new money back in, is finding those ones who they might have wanted to get in, but they want more assurance and they want people to act like a business. And that's been lacking, in my opinion. Now, let me close out with the bad news. I'm sorry, okay? I don't want to even talk about it. I did a brief video on YouTube. It's like 3 minutes long because I want to at least get some awareness up front. But I'm sorry. The car salesman is back. And there's a funny story behind him being back, but I'm sorry that he's back. He didn't want to go away. And it doesn't matter. He's going to rip people off again because that's what he does. And there's people who are suckers and they're in Stockholm Syndrome. I understand that, okay? He's back again. He's shilling another project as a piece of crap, just like the other projects. And there's no mention of all the other stuff that he did. But for those that were following, because there might be some one-off person listening to the show that, heard me talk about the diehards in Seifu, and they said, this guy, he had it right. They just want to come back and give my credit, but he had it right. He tried to warn me. I didn't listen. Let me listen to him now. There may be 1 or 2 people in there. If you're out there, hit me at CryptoTalkRadio.net, hit the contact form, let me know you're out there. But the car salesman's back with this garbage project. Now, there in Seifu, there was this dude named Daniel Prado, and I talked about him once on an old episode. This guy is the definition of balls nuts. There's something wrong with this guy. He looks like he's straight out of the mob. He looks like a mob version of the Jersey Shore. Like he just looks like he's nuts. First he'll talk, I'd like, and then he'll switch it. So he's like, yeah, fuck with me. Like he snaps and he goes, he's weird. It's this fascinating thing watching his video. He fancies himself an influencer. He's on YouTube if you want to check his garbage out, but I don't know. He films from his car. He's got a bunch of stuff in the back seat like it's an office. So I don't know if he's homeless. I don't know. He did some other thing with some girl who looked pretty decent. So I don't know anything about this guy. All I know is he was the biggest freaking supporter of the car salesman you could ever meet. I couldn't understand it because every evidence was out there that this was going to happen with Seifu, from CoffeeZilla to my coverage to multiple other people. And so this new one, I actually tracked down at least the top 4 that I could recall. And there's these secondary garbages, but the top 4, in case you're curious, the tags, Clever DeFi, Fitrova, Seifu, obviously there's the Vulcan blockchain garbage and the Seifu Go garbage and the Seifu X garbage. So there's all these tertiary things that he's also ripped people off on. But if you're interested, I do recommend you check my quick video I did about this I think it's hectic, but hecked turkey. And then the irony was his face in the image he looks like a turkey if you look like. So maybe that was the inspiration. I don't know. And apparently he's gone bald, so he doesn't have his hair, but he keeps posting these old photos of him from way back when he had hair. But apparently he's bald now. There was a video between him and I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was On Chain, because apparently On Chain's back. Outlaw Much. So he's back apparently. I didn't see it, but apparently he's back, and he did a call, and I think this is with Daniel Prado. And Daniel Prado, he's cussing out Brian Legend, and Brian Legend's the car salesman. That's why I say Brian Legend. He's responding. He's talking about, I didn't do anything. I failed. It's the fun, same as he always does. And there's going to be simps and suckers that get taken for this guy. And I'm sorry. We try to run him out of the business. It's not going to work because, the car salesmen are going to keep on doing what car salesmen do as long as you keep letting it happen. So spread the word. If you're aware and maybe you got ripped off by Seifu because you didn't listen to Leister at CryptoTalkRadio.net, or maybe you're in one of the other projects and you got ripped, whatever, spread the word about this guy, please, because we're trying to keep people safe and keep people away from this garbage, especially during the bull run. See, that's what it was. He strategically waited till the bull run started and then came up with this garbage because he knew people were just jumping into regular meme coins. If you're going to jump into a meme coin, at least jump into something with a decent name. Heck Turkey is not what first comes to my mind as a credible project, especially not when Kishu was running up 300%. I mean, there's better projects out there. Even if they're garbage, they're at least less garbage than the car salesman. That's all I'm saying. Let's keep people safe, folks. It's a shady business out there. Stay safe, please. Don't YOLO into stuff. It's up to you. It's your money. I can't tell you what to do with it. But, keep yourself safe. It's a dangerous world out there for sure.